chapter 2, verse number 2. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain upon the tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Today we're talking about the law of design, and its purpose is to maximize growth and to develop strategies for personal success. If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they may have planned for you? Not much at all. There's no substitute for being strategic. To maximize growth, you must develop strategy. That's the law of design. Most people allow their lives to simply happen to them. They float along, they wait, they react, and by the time a large portion of their life is behind them, they realize they should have been more proactive and strategic. Here's some ways to help you learn in this process. Number one, life is very simple, but keeping it that way is very difficult. Despite what others might say, I believe life is pretty simple. Number one, it is a matter of knowing your values. Mine is God, family, friends, real friends, not social media, but making some key decisions based on those values. Put God, family, friends on your calendar. Write them in your budget. I'm not going to move off somewhere to make more money because money's not my highest value. My family's here. My friends are here. I'm connected here. That's what I value. So what you value the most is going to help you make decisions and relieve stress. And then making those decisions on a day-to-day basis. That's pretty straightforward. And at least in theory, the longer we live and the more we learn, the more experience and the more knowledge we acquire, that should make life even simpler. But life has a way of becoming complicated. And it's only through great effort that we can keep it simple. Just remember, as you develop strategies for growth, keep them personal, repeatable, and transferable. A beautifully conceived strategy does you no good if you can't use it or apply it. Designing your life is more important than designing your career. The majority of people spend more time planning for Christmas or their vacation than they do on their career or their life. Why is that? People focus on what they think will give them the greatest return the quickest. If you don't believe you can succeed in your life in the long term, you're not very likely to give it that planning attention that it deserves. Planning your life is about finding yourself, your values, knowing who you are, and then customizing a design for your personal growth. Once you draw the blueprint for your life, then you can apply it to your career, your family, your finances. I know I had thoughts in my head when I was younger of what I wanted my life to look like, but I didn't have many people that spent much time helping me sit down and plan it out on paper. To be honest, I found the thought very overwhelming and difficult because I never thought how to do it, never taught how to do it. Once I established a mentor, it became very clear that I was doing it wrong. I was living in the moment rather than living for a lifetime. Friend, life is not a dress rehearsal. There's no warm-up for life. Yet that's the way many people seem to be treating it. Like you can do this all over again. You don't get to do this over again. Each of us goes on this stage of life cold with no preparation. And we have to figure it out as we go along. And that can be messy because we fail, we make mistakes. But we still need to give it our very best. Regret over not being proactive enough is a common theme among many people looking back on their lives. Recent poll of 70-year-old executives, they were asked what they would do differently if they could live their lives over. The number one ranked answer ahead of any other answer was, I should have taken charge of my life and set my goals earlier. Life isn't practice. It's the real thing. We don't get a rehearsal for life. We have to do the best we can in the moment. But we can learn from others who have gone before us. You only live once. But if you work it right, once is enough. It's unfortunate many people live their whole life as if they get to do it all over again. And from those who I know who live like this, they live a very hard and stressful life. In many cases, I think they become belligerent and care a lot about past baggage with them that they're refusing to let go of. Because of this, it's next to impossible for them to move forward. But it's their choice, not our choice. Another hint in planning your life, multiply everything by 2. I've found that multiplying everything by 2 infuses realism into my optimism. To develop strategies depends on systems. Once you can figure out the system that works for you, everything becomes much simpler. I think the average person takes things for granted and is never forced to develop the most efficient and effective system for them. This leads to complacency, which leads to accepting the status quo. In my opinion, the status quo is like not living at all. Systems permit ordinary people to achieve extraordinary results predictably. Whether it's a system for weight loss, like creating proportioned meals, scheduling an exercise routine, meeting with a personal trainer, to be effective at permanent weight loss is made possible by designing a system that turns into a perpetual habit. Same with weightlifting. In order to get stronger, more healthy, you got to design a system of weightlifting routines to become a natural habit, and over time you'll generate a lot of muscle mass and overall strength. To design a system for your finances is called a budget. We don't like the word, but it's a system that helps us with our finances. Keep it simple. Make it a system that works for you and your lifestyle. Then it will become a habit. It's just like prayer. You develop a system, a time, place, prayer guides, prayer partner, retreats. Then it becomes an enjoyable habit. However, without a system, even extraordinary people find it difficult to predictably achieve even ordinary results. So why do 50% of all college graduates work for people who only have a high school degree? Would the most intelligent person have less intelligent people working for them instead of the other way around? But effective systems allow the less intelligent people to thrive over the more intelligent people without systems. By the way, when we talk about intelligence, who actually has more intelligence in the example I just gave? The person who with less intelligence but hires a team of people with more intelligence, or the people who are hired because they're more intelligent? That's a good question. I guess it depends on who you ask. But so what is this system I'm talking about? It's a process for predictably achieving a goal based on specific, orderly, repeatable principles and practices. Systems leverage your time, your money, and your abilities to your advantage. They're great tools for personal growth. Systems are deliberate, they're intentional, and they're practical. They really work. Regardless of your profession, talent level, or experience, they improve your performance. Whether it's trying to start a New Year's resolution, it's really simple, like ministry. You get a system of training, applying that training, doing it on a daily basis, being consistent with it. A life without any systems is a life where the person must face every task and challenge like starting from scratch. What systems include are their effective systems take the big picture into account. We might be very busy, maybe very efficient. We might also be effective only when we begin with the end in mind. People who excel, regardless of their profession, develop systems to help them achieve the big picture. It's not enough to be busy. If you're busy planning, busy reading books, and busy going to conferences, but they aren't targeted on the areas essential to your success, you're not helping yourself. I have to read a lot to do my job well. I usually don't read anything unless it helps me with my goals. I stop reading books that are just for pleasure and start reading books that will just help me in areas of my strengths and my growth intentions. And I found that growth is intentional, and you make the choice how to spend your time. Systems, it's like corporations. They have systems. That's why they're more successful, make higher profits. Assembly lines, it put mom and pop stores out of business years ago because it was a system where it's more effective at producing goods and saving money. You got to create similar systems in your life strategies, whether it's your finances, your ministry, your spiritual life, your career pursuits, your schools. Create systems that you make into habits. And over time, you become highly successful and you multiply your effectiveness. Effective systems make use of priorities. A system is of limited help to you if it doesn't take into account your priorities. Another thing about systems is they include measurement. Any kind of progress requires the ability to measure. And for that reason, your systems must include a way to measure your results. Measurement is the first step that leads to control and eventually to improvement. If you can't measure something, you can't understand it. If you can't understand it, you can't control it. If you can't control it, you can't improve upon it. Measurement is the key to improvement. In fact, measurement itself can even create improvement. Measurement makes the difference. And it enables you to set goals, evaluate progress, judge your results, and diagnose problems you're facing. If you want to stimulate your growth progress and evaluate the results, build measurement into your systems. Many people don't like measurements because the data doesn't lie. You can't make excuses when progress is measured. You can say one thing, but if the data says the opposite, then I think you know which is telling a more accurate account of the situation. We can call measurement by another word called accountability. The average person runs from accountability because they can't hide their faults, but the successful person runs toward accountability because they know it's an important part to accomplish anything worthwhile. And that's the key word, worthwhile. It doesn't take any accountability to accomplish something worth very little. Effective systems also include application. No plan is worth the paper it's printed on unless it starts you doing something. Both plan and action must go together. The plan creates the track. The action provides the traction to get you going. So anytime you have a goal, but you think you won't be able to reach it, don't adjust your goal, adjust the action steps. People who develop systems that include action steps are almost always more successful than people who don't. Even less talented people with fewer resources accomplish more if they've developed the habit of taking action. I can't understate this concept. You can learn everything you want in the world and be an expert knowing it. But if you can't apply it and take action, it's absolutely worthless. Do you know people that have several academic degrees but can't find a job? Because they can't apply all that knowledge to generate money or to create an income. If you keep your eyes open, you'll notice there are many of these people wandering around your life right now. They don't have any action. They're not getting anything done. They don't have a system. Effective systems, they employ organization. You know, the number one time waster for most people is looking for things that are lost. We spend an exorbitant amount of time looking for things that are lost. Organization is needed in the process of system. How you spend your time is really more important than how you spend your money. Money mistakes, we know, can be corrected. But once time has passed, it's gone forever. Being organized gives us a sense of power. Effective systems also promote consistency. If you want to succeed in the long run, you must learn to be consistent day in and day out, week in and week out, year in and year out. It might be boring, but that's how you'll be successful. You will not change your life until you change something you do daily. Any system you develop needs to promote consistency, and you follow it consistently. The simpler the system, the more effective it is. Over time, your mind will turn that system into a habitual pattern. If the system's difficult, your mind will do just the opposite and fight you every step of the way until you quit. Willpower will very rarely beat the subconscious mind. There's nothing wrong with simple. We've been told for generations that it's too good to be true. And when we're presented with a simple but effective system, too many people immediately think it's too good to be true, so it must not be good. So let's complicate the matter, make it really messy. You know, when you study the highest scores in the NBA, you know one simple trick that gets them to that level where they're scoring more than everybody else, it's very boring. They make their free throws. The Illinois guy, Jokic, he scored 18 out of 18 free throws. He only scored 26 points. 18 came from free throws. Another one scored 12 out of 12 free throws. The leading scorer in the NBA right now, 90% average on free throws, 10 points per game. That's more than most people score. It's simple, but they developed a system of how to make free throws. They focus on that. It's boring, it's repetitious, it's not highlight real material, but that's what got them to be the highest scorers in their profession. So customize something that fits you. Use these systems to build your strengths and reach your goals. If you go to work on your goals will go to work on you. If you work your plan will begin to work on you. Whatever good things we build end up building us. Create systems that you can follow in your career, your family, your finances, your spiritual life, your ministry life. These systems need to be simple, not somebody you saw on social media and how they do it. No, they got to match your values. I value my family. I value God. I value my friends, real friends, not 5,000 people on a social media account, but people I see, meet with, people who are going to come to a birthday party, people who are going to show up at our funeral. That's what I value. Money is not the highest goal in my life. Reputation that exceeds the boundaries of my local confines is not my highest value. I want to have value where I'm at right now. I want to create systems that make me successful in that environment. Go out and design a plan for your life. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, however long it is into the future you plan to live. And start creating systems that make a pattern and a habit in your life where you're going to consistently grow and end up being highly effective and successful. And you won't be able to look over your shoulder when you've reached that 70 like some executives have and realize a corporation, a bank, a collegiate university, they made all the plans for my life. They planned my finances, how much I'd make. They planned my schedule. They planned my time off. They planned everything for my life, and I had to fit their plan. But before you let someone else do that, right now design a plan for your life. What do you value? What are you shooting for? Let God guide you in this process. God bless you for joining us today.